people injured here. 2v2 Calderis Refinery faction battle. Space Marines versus Chaos. Blue team, we have Praetor, also known as Codex, playing a force commander. Fights melee, very versatile, can tank, disrupt and support, and excels at offense. Alongside, Toilailee plays a Techmarine, puts out some nice damage, starts off range combat, can get a melee weapon, good utility, can build structures and repair. For Chaos, we have Caeltos playing a Chaos Sorcerer, offensive and disruptive commander, fights melee to start off, has a bunch of spells. And Alexander Begg, also known as Eye of Horus, plays a Plague Champion, starts off range combat with his damage over time bolter, can get melee weapons, great damage potential and utility, can heal, build turrets and repair, but lacks mobility. Chaos Space Marines in cup here, shooting at this Techmarine. Looks like these Tactical Marines are going to join in, use their Kraken bolts and put some pressure on these Chaos Space Marines. Lots of bolters and power armor early on. Tactical Marines will beat Chaos Space Marines in a straight up firefight. They have more health, 1050 to 975. They also have Kraken bolts, of course. Those heretics need to worship. There we go. Worship is what tips the balance for Chaos Space Marines, or what can tip the balance anyway. Now Toilailee pushing forward and working on those heretics, which is what you should do. Don't let them worship in peace. And he has double shotgun scouts here, so I don't think we're going to see an aspiring champion heretic squad from Eye of Horus. His Plague Champion is on the west side, getting in a fist fight with some Tactical Marines. Backed up by those scouts, that's not a good fight for him, and he backs off. Caeltos' natural is uncapped right now. Praetor with this forced commander, are we going to see a power sword? 500, 488 early VP lead for blue. Still cover to cover fighting here. Eye of Horus going for double Chaos Space Marines, and he's backing those up with some Havocs. You usually do need to back up double Chaos Space Marines with something else, Raptors or Havocs or even Noise Marines. I don't think we're going to see Noise Marines versus Space Marines though. Otherwise, double Chaos Space Marines can be easy to counter. You can just suppress them or jump them with jump troops. We are seeing aspiring champion for these heretics of Eye of Horus. Caeltos already has an aspiring champion. He's a particularly nasty Chaos Marine, very good in close combat, and makes the heretic squad into a very competent melee squad, especially in tier 1. Look at this, also have Eternal War for Caeltos'. Chaos Space Marines gives them a 20% damage increase, both melee and range, further helping them out versus Tactical Marines. And now some Havocs from Caeltos. Will we see double Havocs from Caeltos? He does like to use it quite often. Here are the Havocs, and Toilailee gets his first sign of them, instantly suppressing those Tactical Marines and the Techmarine. Such great suppression from long range from the Havocs. And Toilailee has some Devastators, not quite as good at suppressing. You see the heretics getting away with there without being suppressed. They do more damage though than the Havocs, I believe. 500, 430 is a double cap for the Space Marine players. Now a 2-to-1. Here we see some Tzeentch worship infiltrating these Chaos Space Marines. Also gives them that damage resistance when they are partially revealed, which all infiltration does. So it's a really great worship. Assault Marines jumping right into the Havoc's field of fire here. Are they going to jump again? They need 55 energy to jump. They do have it now. And they do jump. A huge risk from Praetor. He's really wanting to push here. Doom bolts go in and take out an Assault Marine. He might be able to take out another, but doesn't go after them in retreat. Goes after the Force Commander instead. That could have been a mistake. Could have taken out two models there. Taken out rather. All kicking off on the east side. Here come those double shotgun scouts. Very aggressive usage from Toilailee, because these heretics now have grenade launchers, so they lose all melee effect and this can no longer Doom Blast. The Chaos aspiring champion will still smack you in the face though, and takes out a scout there as well. Tactical Marines tying up the Havocs, using their Kraken bolts, which still gives them the damage increase in melee, and Havocs getting owned there, needed to back off. The Plague Champion now in a bit of trouble. What is he going to do? He's going to retreat. Should be okay. 50 health. Will get down to around 20 or so but should be fine. Devastator's pushing up. These double Chaos Space Marines are still in play though. Backing off the Devastators, and again not suppressed. 500, 372, a healthy VP lead for the Space Marines. Look at these. Fully upgraded scouts for Praetor. Have the infiltration training, shotguns, and a sergeant. The sergeant makes them a detector unit, will allow them to spot these infiltrated stuff from Tzeentch worship. And of course, the aspiring champion heretics are detectors, so they will be able to spot the infiltrated scouts. 500, 357, 2-to-1 cap. Eye of Horus goes tier 2, as does Toilailee, and Caeltos is getting double havocs here. And we have a scout sergeant for Toilailee as well. Tactical Marines meleeing the power node down. Eye of Horus a bit disjointed at the moment. His havocs are on the way back out. Plague champion also there, and he has his aspiring champion and grenade launch heretics. So that's 45 power spent on this heretic squad. Aspiring champions are now 125 in elite. Techmarine backing off. Havocs moving up. Heretics of course are only 210 requisition now, but they do have less health than they do in retail. Grenade there, nicely done. Caeltos losing 2 Chaos Space Marines there, and it's getting chased down by those shotguns. Power Sword, Force Commander, looks like he has Armor of Alacrity, and he does. Gives him a passive speed boost, also gives him the sprint ability, which gives him a huge speed increase for a short amount of time. You have double shotgun and sergeant scouts from Toilailee. We'll be able to use these scouts quite aggressively now. Tactical Marines moving forward, getting their sergeant in tier 2 perhaps. We will see Stern Guard though. Their Kraken bolts are not really as effective as their very effective Hellfire rounds. So we probably won't see them, might see a plasma gun. Surely we will see the plasma gun for the Techmarine though. He has Artifice up. We saw him putting up some mines, and there we go, he's laying some mines again. Scouts being very sneaky here. Are they going to chuck a grenade? They do drop a grenade, but it's easily dodged by Eye of Horus. Nice idea by Praetor, but couldn't quite pull it off. Eye of Horus hasn't really been able to counter this Devastator effectively. It does have those grenade launchers which allow you to disrupt a setup team, but other than that, hasn't really been able to do a lot. I suppose he did not want to get Raptors and stay in tier 1 even longer. And again, Eye of Horus forced back to base. He's not taken a lot of losses, but he is losing a lot of ground here. Caeltos with these double havocs. He likes to get double auto cannons as well. Maybe we'll see that. Praetor with double assault marines to counter the double havocs. And that power sword in there. These guys just about making it out. Can he take them down with his bolt pistols? No, they get suppressed by the havocs over here. Nicely done. That was a Doom Blast, and the heretics back off. Chaos Space Marines now have their aspiring champion for Caeltos. Maybe we'll see Mark of Khorne from him to try and combat these assault marines head on. Force Commander's level 2. Techmarines level 2 has the plasma gun now. Such scary DPS versus heavy power armor, or heavy infantry in general, but he's going to get taken down by those Chaos Space Marines with Mark of Khorne. Makes them into a really fearsome melee unit. These chain axes are power weapons, and they get a speed buff and a health buff. I'm not sure how he's going to be able to use them effectively though, up against Devastators and double shotgun Sergeant Scouts. Now here we see a Razorback from Toilailee. Support vehicle for Space Marines, allows you to reinforce and transport infantry, but he's run into a lot of trouble. Here we see some Plague Marines for Eye of Horus, and a las cannon on the way. This Razorback might not last very long. Plague Marines are heavy, sorry, they're not heavy infantry, they are just infantry, but they have a missile launcher and damage over time bolters, and down goes the Razorback, taken out by the las cannon there. Not sure what Toilailee was doing, he wasn't moving it, was he? Did not last very long. Chaos Sorcerer now capping this power. He has Sword of Flame, Robes of Torment. Great choice. Chains of Torment would allow him to try and deal with these double assault marines. These guys have a sergeant, and so do these guys. You see him at the back there with the red helmet and the power sword. 492 271. Praetor now coming to help out Toilailee under the Kosh. Lascannon taking out generators from long range. Not going to be terribly useful versus all this infantry now though. 483 271. Assault Marines jumping in. Praetor teleporting in his force commander. And a full retreat from Eye of Horus. It's now a double cap for the Chaos players. Doom bolts going off. Doom bolts are a lot more lethal than elite. Ouch. The health it took off of those tactical marines. And a Shrine of Zinx going up. Shoots out these Doom bolts. Also gives a passive 10% damage reduction. You can tell by these blue circles below the feet of this stuff. A lot of people forget about the passive buff that Zinc Shrines and Corn Shrines give now. Corn Shrines give you 10% damage buff. Librarian getting into a lot of trouble here. What's he up to? These Chaos Space Marines have Mark of Zinch, by the way. Those are Inferno bolts that you see them shooting. Very good damage versus all infantry types. But they will be taken down by dedicated melee squads, and Assault Marines jumping in as well will hurt them. We have a Plague Fist for the Plague Champion. Also has Armor of Pestilence. Might see him back that up with the Icon of Nurgle, or perhaps Mucus Discharge for Breath of Nurgle. Devastator's set up there. Surprised we haven't seen any Raptors in Tier 2 with their Aspiring Champion. Raptors are pretty dangerous. Havoc's here. Ouch! Nasty, nasty grenade, and the scouts are chasing with these shotguns. Can't quite take them out though, but they might take out these guys. Assault Marines jumping in, hitting them in retreat, taking out 2 models. More Assault Marines jumping, and they're going to chase these guys down. 11 hit points, 5 hit points, 4-2. And they get away. Wow. 430, 262. It's a 2-to-1 cap for the Space Marines. Eye of Horus now has Mark of Zinx, Chaos Space Marines, and Mark of Khorne. Getting Eternal War for these guys as well. These guys already have Eternal War. They do not have their Aspiring Champion though, who gets a nifty Melter Pistol. Here you see the husk of that Razorback. And blue team might get a triple. Scouts trying to cap. Assault Marines trying to hold up this stuff. Scouts abandon the cap to come and shoot stuff. There's a shotgun blast. Heretics will Doom Blast and use it to retreat. There we go. Merciless Strikes knocks back a Plague Marine. Plague Marine explode when they die, healing allies and damaging enemies. They do not heal each other though in Elite, which really hurts their durability quite a lot. And a Venerable Dreadnought cooled down by Toilailee. Is that the best choice with Plague Marines and a Las Cannon and a Plague Fist? Plague Champion, he now has Mucus Discharge. Gives him a great AoE heal with Breath of Nurgle. I usually get it in Tier 1 for my Plague Champion. 430, 229. Plague Marines forced off. Not heavy infantry, but they do have crazy health regen, as you can see there on their unit card. Las Cannon backing off now. Tactical Marines with their Sergeant, no weapon upgrade yet. Perhaps waiting for a vehicle to hit the field and get a missile launcher. Looks like the Chaos players are getting together now, and we do see double auto cannons from Caeltos. And here we see Mark of Khorne Havocs. Auto cannons, great weapons. A small AoE, good damage to all targets. If you double them up, you can really shred stuff. Still no Aspiring Champion for Eye of Horus's Mark of Khorne CSM. In fact, he's going to Tier 3, and this is a suicidal charge from the Venerable Dreadnought. This thing cannot get ranged weapons, so needs to get into melee, taking big Las Cannon hits, taking hits from Plague Marines as well. These guys not shooting at it yet, and down it goes. There is Stoicism. The Plague Champion was also in there, getting Plague Fist hits in, and a huge engagement here. Double Assault Marines jumping in. These Heretics getting away. Yes, nobody's lost a squad yet, I don't think. Toilailee has lost his 2 vehicles though. 430, 186. No idea why he went for the Venerable Dreadnought up against double Plague Marines, Las Cannon, and this Plague Champion and double autocannons as well. He probably did not know about the autocannons. And here are the Assault Marines jumping in, disrupting, making a nuisance of themselves, allowing range fire to come in. There we see the Circle of Summoning spitting out these yellow bloodletters from Caeltos. Autocannons really doing some good damage to those Assault Marines. I don't think these guys have lost a model yet since they got there as sergeants. Plague Champion gets a nice special attack, stopping the Techmarine from reviving the Force Commander, and he goes down in retreat there. Plague Champion trying to close on his Devastators and does, and takes one out with the Sinker immediately. Plague Fist to the pelvis there. Red team needs a cap mid though. 430, 152. Tactical Marines trying to shoot up this Plague Champion. Might want to let the Plague Marines take that cap. Is he going to die here? There's a grenade attempt, didn't quite hit him, but does smack a Plague Marine over. Auto cannons for Caeltos. How is he making them work with double Assault Marines? Only Caeltos can do this. Chaos Sorcerer now level 2 with the Robes of Torment and Sword of Flame. Tier 3 for Caeltos, the last to go. Librarian still on the field for Praetor. I haven't seen a lot from this guy. Sub-Commander for Space Marines have this Force Sword, which is a power weapon. Also has Smite and some great support abilities. Tactical Marines mid still. Perhaps some Plasma Cannons would be good for the Space Marine players. Markov Corn CSM still without their aspiring champion, but they are level 2. Going after this Techmarine. A Predator on the field for Toilailee. Perhaps this vehicle will last a bit longer for him. Caeltos hitting tier 3 momentarily. Nobody has enough red to get Terminators onto the field. 422, 127. Here come these double scouts, which done really well for Toilailee, I think. Grenade going in, using them very aggressively, throwing grenades left and right. Librarian goes down, a big blow for Praetor. Was hugely overextended there. Where's the rest of his stuff? They're over here on the west side. Submarines jumping the auto cannons. Scouts are going to chuck a grenade. No. Maybe they will. No. Don't think it's off cooldown. And scouts can decap Red's natural. It's a 2-to-1 cap, but not for long. Or maybe it is. Plague Champion here coming to decap Blue's natural, retreating these low health Chaos Space Marines. A Chaos Predator on the way for Eye of Horus. Perhaps Markov Zinch to try and combat this Predator head on, who has no upgrades yet. 394, 127. Chaos Sorcerer in amongst these Tactical Marines who use They Shall Know No Fear, makes them very resistant to damage, knocking over this Chaos Sorcerer here. But here come Marco Zinch, Inferno Bolts. Force Commander teleports into the Heretics and teleports into double auto cannons. Look at the damage they do. Assault Marines jumping in now. 394, 127. Will we see some Vanguard veterans? He must be saving up for Terminators. He wants to get the red for Terminators, I think. Needs 30 more red. That's why he was perhaps jumping into this Heretics trying to get medal losses. Here we see a Noxious Cloud. Predators duking it out. Toilailee's Predator can get extra armor, of course. The Chaos Predators cannot. But you can get Mark of Nurgle, which makes you very, very tough, but not so good versus vehicles anymore. Assault Marines in amongst these Plague Marines, who will explode on death, and you see that they passively lower the speed of infantry as well if they get too close. Here's the Chaos Sorcerer. Can he get a model off these guys? No, they jump away. Still haven't seen them lose a model since they got their sergeants. Praetor is down there. 394, 93 Heretics. Repairing this Chaos Predator, which is getting Mark of Zinch, gives it a twin linked las cannon, makes it very effective versus vehicles. Chaos Havoc's decapping this VP here, and Plasma Cannon on the field for Toilailee. artillery unit that sets up with long range, good damage to all targets if it can hit. Bang! Exploding a Plague Marine there. And as you can see, they're now in a bit of trouble with just 3 models without that heal, healing each other. 317.93. And it's a 2-to-1 cap for red. Can they hold on though? Are they going to push this west side? No, looks like Caeltos is coming mid. Still, nobody has lost an infantry squad. Praetor now has enough for Terminators, so what are we going to see then? Perhaps some assault Terminators to go after this Predator. That was a big hit from the plasma cannon. And here we see the Terminators. What has he gone for? Assault Terminators it is. Storm Shields and Thunderhammers. Very good heavy melee damage, so good damage to all targets. They can get lightning claws, of course, which makes them frightening against infantry, to say the least. There is another Noxious Cloud. The Predator will be taken out by the Melter Bomb. Now these Assault Terminators in a bit of trouble, very, very isolated. Bloodletter's coming after them, and they teleport out. Probably going to walk back to base. You cannot retreat Terminators. Super heavy infantry cannot be suppressed and walk through cover, as you see here. And they are pretty badass. Also Inspire, of course, whenever they kill anything, buffing damage of nearby allied troops. Triple cap now for the Chaos players. Hitting power here. Blue team in dire straits. Look at the map. Techmarine revives the Force Commander, who ran back to base with his power sword. 269.93. Still this triple cap. And another Chaos Predator on the way for Eye of Horus. Here is Caeltos', and he's gone for Mark of Khorne, buffing the damage of the side sponsons, I think. I'm not sure if it still buffs the main autocannon's damage. It's meant as a general damage buff versus infantry, I think. I think the Mark of Nurgle Predator is generally better, in my opinion. It is a lot slower, of course, though, but does infect infantry, which is a really nice new mechanic for Elite. Plague Marines getting owned. We have a plasma gun for Praetor's Tactical Marines. Looks like we're not going to see any Stern Guard then. No sign of any Vanguard either. This Plague Champion's in a bit of trouble. Level 3 needs to retreat. Plasma Cannon didn't quite hit him. Tactical Marines trying to force melee and to finish him off, but he does get away. Over 1300 hit points now at level 3 with Armour of Pestilence. Techmarines level 5 now. Assault Marines jumping in. Force Commander now has a Power Fist, teleporting in behind that Predator. Melter Bomb goes off on rear armor, and here come Assault Terminators. A few more hits on rear armor and this Predator will go down. There we go. These Havocs need to reface themselves if they're going to do anything to these Terminators. Terminators taking quite a lot of damage from this autocannon and these Mark of Tzeentch. Chaos Space Marines, Heretics moving in there. Terminators will take a long time to kill Heretics because there's so many of them, and they start doing sync kills and things. Inspiring the Force Commander to do more damage now. Power Fist going after those Havocs, takes out 2 models, and he levels to 5. What a level are these guys? These guys are level 2. Eye of Horus is CSM level 2 and level 3. Does he have an aspiring champion for these guys? He does. Get these really cool Khorne Berserker style helms. The Mark of Tzeentch guys get 1000 Sun style power armor. You see there's different pieces of armor and helms there. 185.87. Huge engagement here. Las cannons going off. One here from Toilailee. And those Plague Marines getting owned. Need to retreat now. They shall know no fear. Tactical Marines with a missile launcher. Chaos Predator being repaired. Does not have a mark for Eye of Horus, and another Librarian for Praetor to support these Assault Terminators, no doubt. This Predator will most likely go down. Needs to run the hell away. Las Cannon gets the last shot. And that was a drop pod, I think, reinforcing Toilailee's infantry. Everything can now reinforce around this drop pod. The Chaos Forces will want to take it out, but look at this recovery from Blue Team, beautifully done. They have mid, they can retake their natural and get a 2-to-1 going. They have this double here 18538, sorry, it's a single. Red team will take their natural back. Blue team have very strong forces now. Assault Terminators, Tactical Marines at level 3, double Assault Marines, both level 3. That's probably why he hasn't upgraded them to Vanguard Veterans. When you upgrade to First Company Marines, you do lose your levels. Noxious Cloud mid. Friendly fire from that Plasma Cannon doing damage to the Predator there. And here comes the Plague Champion trying to cap. He's probably going to use Pestilence Strike. No. How did he get knocked back with Armor of Pestilence? Very odd. I guess the Plasma Cannon does ability knockback and knocked him over there. Assault Marines take out the Havoc and GG is called. 1854 is a 2-to-1 cap. Really nicely fought battle, and Space Marines will come out on top. Those Assault Terminators making such a huge difference. Toilailee losing Razorback and the Venerable Dreadnought very quickly, but they still came back and won. Great play from all players. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.